it is not like I don't understand the anger over this incident over here, but at the same time, it does feel like overreaction to me. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven with your additional spicy figure news fix. We have an incident over here involving a genuine licensed premium scale figure brand from China called Limland and Vkend Hobby, which they apparently released a terrible Rurudo Eve figure and people are pissed. Though I feel like people are actually overreacting, and I will explain why soon. So, in case you guys are unaware of Limland and also Vkend Hobby, they are the same company. So I'm pulling up the database over here on MFC. Limland, this brand right here, they actually make edgy figures. And down here, they have around 26 figures in total, but half of them are in prototype stage, not even on pre-order yet. And they have a branch over here called Vkend Hobby with even lesser figures, around 11 of them, and only half of them already on pre-order or released. Not many. Yeah, they're very new companies. So this Rurudo Eve figure over here is made by both in a way, because Limland is 18 plus, Vkend Hobby, think of it as a safe for work figures division of Limland. So back to this figure right here, this post on Reddit, which was from around 5 days ago at the time of recording. By the time I publish it, it is 1 week old, right? This piece of news over here. Rurudo Eve Sugar High released in China and people are pissed. So chaos has erupted on her MFC page with disappointed people cancelling their pre-orders. I have also seen people saying that this might be a bootleg. Drama much. What do you all think? Could this be a bootleg? And if it is not, what do you think of the figure released? I personally don't think it looks that bad. I just wish the stockings were white and I hope that the lollipop is included in the package. Okay. So the top is released and the bottom is the official product picture, what was being advertised during the pre-order period. At first glance, the top picture looks a lot worse, but there are so many things going on over here. Number one, the white balance of the two images are different. So in case you don't know what white balance is, basically whenever you hold a camera, including a smartphone, your camera is not 100% accurate. Sometimes the white balance itself, it can shift towards yellow or slightly blue, slightly warm or slightly cold. And then white balance is not just about cold and warm, blue or yellow. It is also about a balance between green and purple hues, right? So the top picture over there is leaning towards a warmer shade, yellow shade, and there is a little bit of green hue as well, which is common in smartphone cameras. The next thing would be the obvious difference over here, which I can understand why people are pissed, and I do agree with the angry people over here, is that the stockings are of a completely different color. I'm not too worried about the skin color part because it could be a white balance issue involving the camera and the lighting surrounding the camera. But the stockings over here, it is like the advertised picture, it is almost opaque white, but the final product, it almost looks like she is bare-legged, but not really. It is giving off the impression where the stockings she is wearing is a bit thinner. The material, the cloth is thinner, so you can see through the stockings, and then the colors of her leg, of her skin is showing through a little bit. So that is the perception I'm getting over here, the feeling I'm getting. Thicker stockings on the bottom, thinner, cheaper stockings on the top, so you get more skin color showing through. Is it a bad thing? Well, it is not good for figure companies to make changes, right? Like, they promised this color, and then when they release it, the figure is of a different color. It is not a good thing. So I can understand why people are mad. But honestly speaking, if people are cancelling their pre-orders in mass, and the figure on top, bargain bins 50-60%, I would totally pick one up at half the price, because this figure is going for around 20,700 yen or less than 1,000 Chinese yuan before any discounts. That is the official MSRP price, not including taxes or shipping. But if you guys go and cancel it, and I can get her for half price, basically low budget scale figure coming out from China, I would totally snatch one because this still looks a lot better than any low budget scale figures out there that cost under 10,000 yen. The next thing would be, people are also pointing out that her fingers look worse. And initially, I was buying into this argument, this statement that her fingers look worse in the final products compared to the prototype below, right? And then I went through a lot more pictures from users which were stolen from the internet, mostly from Bilibili and from, H-Boy. And then as it turns out, I think her fingers looks identical to the official product pictures. So let me bring up more pics over here. As we speak, people are sharing out this meme over here, and I'm not sure if I can agree. I mean, putting aside her stockings, I don't find the paintwork to be any different. I mean, the shading on the hair, I find it identical, and I also think her fingers are pretty much similar, right? Okay, so moving on to some pictures over here. This is on MFC. Okay, so can we zoom in a little? Okay, so when people saw this picture over here, in lower resolution on the internet, on social media, people are saying her fingers over here look like bootlegs in a way, like a little bit poorly defined. It is like comparing the fingers of a child to a well-developed adult, you know. The fingers of an adult, you have a proper shape, and then with children, it is like the fingers, the skin surrounding the fingers has a little bit more fat, and then you get less defined shape. So people are saying that the fingers look like a bootleg over here. And then as I go through more pictures over here, I don't think so. Okay, so for the sake of comparison, if you see this purple-pink background, that is the official product picture advertised by Vkend and Limland. So this is an official product picture over here. I can't zoom in because this is a low-resolution picture. But anyways, pay attention to her fingers in this picture, right? Just the shape of her fingers and nothing else. Don't care about the color for the time being. Official product pictures again, focus on the shape of her fingers. And then we move on to the actual released product. Do they look different to you? Because to me, it feels like they look identical, so I'm not sure what people have been seeing online. I'm going back and forth a little bit. Okay, this picture and maybe this picture. Yeah, a closer look at her fingers. So I am cycling back and forth a little bit over here. What do you think about her fingers? I think they look identical. Yeah, the angle of the picture is different for sure. But I think the shape of her fingers are well defined enough. So depending on the quality of the image you're looking at online, her fingers could look worse, but that could be a problem of the camera rather than the figure itself. And as you can see, her skin color in this picture looks a little bit more pink. Meanwhile, a different user picture over here, it looks more yellow. Different white balance, obviously, right? These are all user pictures. This is a more yellow picture once again. Okay, let me compare this to this picture. What do you think? I think they look identical, man. So I'm not sure what people are talking about. This almost feels like peer pressure, where people are jumping on a hate bandwagon just to feel that they belong to a specific group of people who are equally big fans of Rurudo, right? I feel like the hate and the overreaction is a bit overblown over here. I mean, look at her face, man. Look at the painting on her hair. Adequate amount of shading. All these strands over here has a different shade of purple color. Even her wings over here, yeah, there is color gradient. All of the shading is there. And depending on how intense the purple or the colors on this figure is, it all depends on lighting and your white balance, the camera you are using. So, the biggest problem with this figure, based on what I can see over here, is only the white stockings and nothing else. Here we have a picture, user picture, where the white balance is colder, leaning towards blue and purple instead of yellow and green. So the skin color looks a bit more right compared to the official product pictures. And if you want more pictures over here, you can go to hboy.net, which is basically China's version of MMC, but it is not related to MMC in any way. People upload user pictures over there. They have a figure database, and you get to see a lot of high quality pictures over here taken with proper cameras. And as you can see, well, indeed, there is a problem with the color of the stockings. They need to fix it. But everything else, I think it looks pretty good. And even with this figure not being fixed by the brand that released this figure, I would have one at a discount, obviously. So I won't be going through every single user picture over here on HPoy because I do not want to waste any more time. I feel like I have already made my point, right, about the stockings being the only problem and the fingers look fine to me. Okay, so this comparison over here, top and bottom, just a matter of lighting. The bottom has better lighting. Her face is beautiful, man. Why would you even cancel the pre-order? Yeah, this is beautiful. Okay, so there is a little bit of silver lining over here. Rurudo Eve Sugar High update. Good news. Basically, Vkend will be sending you free replacement legs. And there is the official statement over here. Press statement coming from Vkend. Right, this is in Chinese. And this is in Japanese as well. Limb length. So it feels like Vkend is like Chinese, mainland Chinese branch, and limb length for the Japanese version. Interesting. Yeah, and there is a translation over here on Reddit. Dear players, we sincerely thank everyone for your continuous support and love for the Eve Sugar High version. After the product was shipped, we have been receiving valuable feedback from players. After careful discussion and consideration by our team, we have decided to offer compensation to all players who have purchased this product. The compensation details are as follows. Each player will receive an additional 1 pair of replacement white silk stocking feet with shoes parts, 1 pair of replacement white silk bare feet parts. The compensation parts are expected to begin shipping at the end of November. So there we go. If you have already received the figure early, then maybe contact the shop that you pre-ordered the figure from and how to arrange for the delivery of those extra pair of legs. Meanwhile, for those of you that have not received the figure yet, from what I have heard, this figure was supposed to be released in late September or early October, but has now been delayed to late November. So you just wait for it, right? And here's the problem, right? And this is a problem not unique to limb length or Vkend, but rather it applies to pretty much almost every Japanese brand with the exception of Good Smile Company and the companies under their support. So, for example, if Alter, they have a major QC issue involving their figures, like recently, the mold issue involving a couple of the figures like St. Louis from Azalane, they offer support for the domestic Japanese market. Even brands like Amakuni, if there is a major fault with the product, a major defect, they will send you replacement parts. The problem is that they apply to only the Japanese market. And for those of you outside of Japan, tough luck. And I would say that the same thing applies to China. If you pre-ordered or purchased the figure in China as a mainland Chinese, if you contact the store, maybe they can arrange something for you. But if you are like me, international customer, then I'm not sure what the arrangement is like. So this is something you need to be aware. But regardless of that fact, I urge you to reach out to the figure store you pre-ordered or purchased the figure from, email them, message them, attach that press statement that I showed you earlier on HPoy. Regardless of whether it is the Japanese version or the Chinese version, attach that press statement in your email, reach out to the store and ask them, are there anything they are planning to do about this? How are you going to get the replacement parts since that the company has announced about this offer over here? So don't keep quiet, right? So there is some accountability coming from the figure company, and I really do appreciate that. And for that reason alone, I still stand by my statement in my Figure News Fix videos. Whenever I see a new Chinese figure brand and a new Japanese figure brand, and then we ask, can I trust this brand? Because there isn't much of a track record. I have often said that I would rather trust a new Chinese brand over a new Japanese brand, right? Yeah, it seems like I'm eating my own words over here when a relatively new Chinese brand, relatively, is screwing up a figure, but at least they are taking accountability for it. This is technically not a defect, but they are still offering replacement parts. Meanwhile, we have Japanese brands who will unapologetically release bad figures, right? I mean, Be Full, Insight, and so on. Insight has been getting a bit better, but still not great. And then recently we have Arma Bianca putting something that looks like a price figure on pre-order for 27,000 yen. Yes, I'm referring to that Makise Kurisu figure in a plain dress. So, I would not hesitate to recommend this brand again if you ask for my opinion, because based on the pictures I've seen, a lot of them, it seems like the only fault is the color of the stockings, the choice of paint for her legs. It is not like the figure itself is bad. It looks like a high quality premium figure, and the face of the figure is as good as it gets. Yeah, no problems over here. Her face is beautiful. The shading on her hair and everything, identical to the official product pictures. So I would totally keep my pre-order if I were you. If, a big if over here, if it is guaranteed that you're getting a free set of legs. 2 pair of free legs over there. If you have cancelled it, well, hopefully you will be able to purchase it again. Hopefully, in case you want the figure. Meanwhile, there will be copies out there, like copies of this figure which are not getting fixed by the figure brand Vkend because they are already in stock in some stores and they did not bother to reach out to the figure manufacturer to replace it, which in those cases, I would wait for a bargain bin before picking one up, because while the stocking color being a tad bit different is a disappointment, I would take one for a discount, like I said earlier in this video. So what do you think about the fiasco involving this figure? What are your opinions after seeing all these pictures over here? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. So that is all for today. I hope that you found this video to be helpful or informative, and if it is, please do give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. And one last piece of opinion I have over here is that most likely the people who are extremely pissed and mad about this figure looking different from the official product pictures, they are most likely to be hardcore Rurudo fans. Yeah, so they value loyalty to the original artwork. They want the figure to look exactly 100% like the original artwork. So when passionate people get angry, they can appear to overreact. So it is not like I don't understand the anger over this incident over here, but at the same time, it does feel like overreaction to me. So until then, thanks a lot for watching and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.